Hello out there in internet land. John Hess, filmmaker IQ, coming to you live through the power of streaming. My phone's going crazy. It's alright. So yeah, I figured I would just hop on board, say hi to everybody. It's been a long time. Hello, not dead person. Hey, if you guys know Monty Python, the line is from Monty Python. Bring out your dead! And I am not dead yet. Well, I mean, I'm pretty darn close to being dead, but I am not quite dead yet. It's been a while since our last chat. And what happened was, if you guys remembered me in a couple weeks before that, I was gearing up to do the high school graduation videos. And that was murder. That was pretty tough. It involved basically 16-hour days, just back to back. I mean, the way we shot it was not ideal in that it was, very vastly number of different elements, but not kind of coordinated in any way. So we were shooting part of it here, part of it there, part of it there. Hello, Craig Costa from Canada Land. But we were shooting parts of it all over the place, so I was running around like crazy and trying to get it all done. We got it all done. I mean, I did 4 different high schools. I feel very proud and very happy with the result. I thought the graphics looked great. I thought everything looked great. And then I saw some of the other high schools, and I thought, boy, we did a great job. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to bash... I'm not going to bash anybody's high schools, but we delivered a basically... Our longest video was an hour and 15 minutes. So you got a graduation in an hour and 15 minutes. Nice ceremony. Everyone had people had a chance to speak. There are lots of photos and looking back at the year that passed. Hour 15, you're done. You're off celebrating. You're having a good time. You turned your tassel. You're happy, right? And my high school that I went to for 1 year in my freshman year, they had a 4-hour graduation ceremony. 4 hours and 15 minutes. Started at 6 p.m., got done at 10 o'clock. And I'm like, wow. Wow, wow, wow. That was 4.5 hours for graduation. So, Zachariah Abed, that is really the reason why I haven't been doing anything lately. Because I've literally been spending every single waking hour doing those graduation videos. And then, on top of that, I was doing messaging for one of the cities that's nearby. I'm still doing that today. In fact, that's why I'm... you can't tell with this lighting, but I am sunburnt like crazy because I spend about 6 hours out here in Lake Elsinore sun, which is not your typical sun. It's not your. You don't think Southern California sun? You think, oh, beach? Nope, it's like desert sun. So I did about 6 hours a day. Oh, my mom's gonna come here and say hi. I'm talking to people on the computer. Go sit down.
Bag.
Oh, you need a bag. She wants a trash bag. So there you go. Anyhow. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing. I haven't had any time to do anything else. I have the first half of the Fox video shot and recorded, and I have edited about half of it. And then all the stuff started falling down the line. And I'm doing, currently I'm doing another video for, we're doing a messaging for a freeway interchange project that's just starting. That's going to be a 2-year project, but it's, I mean, not my end of it's not going to be 2 years, but the actual construction is 2 years. And bad karma, your nephew is in a virtual graduation here in Garden Grove. Cool. Hi, Paul Kepner. How you doing? Yeah, virtual graduations, I think, it's one of those interesting things that, as a filmmaker, as a video communicator, I feel it's very, I'm very biased. I'm very pro virtual graduation. I think a lot of the administration, a lot of teachers, are probably on board with virtual graduation because it kind of beats sitting out in the summer heat in your regular clothes with robes on top of them. And I think I heard from a lot of teachers. That was a crazy night when we did the virtual graduation. We had four simultaneously broadcasting, and we popped open a lot of bottles of champagne. And then there's a teacher that lived nearby, and they came over to the office. I was at a colleague's office because he and I worked on it together. His team and I worked on it together, and we opened some more bottles of champagne. And then I ended up sitting in the Del Taco parking lot for a while, trying to kind of get my bearings here because it was a lot of champagne for that virtual graduation. So anyhow, yeah. So I mean, I'll be brutally honest. So why I haven't spent much time on YouTube is that, frankly, I make more in I can bill more in a couple hours doing my business than I can in a whole month of YouTube. YouTube is getting to the point where it's hard to justify a lot of effort on YouTube, and I'm not saying I'm going to stop YouTube, but YouTube is very disappointing recently, very disappointing. When the pandemic started, the numbers went to the toilet as far as the ad revenue goes, and you're looking at it like, I'm putting a lot of work and effort on YouTube, and I'm seeing nothing but these solar battery charging commercials that are horrible. And I feel like YouTube sucks as far as like... Now look, I still want to put out videos, but I'm putting out videos for my own personal reasons, not for actually trying to make a career on YouTube or make any kind of money besides basic, basic... I don't smoke, but cigarette money is what the basic term is. Just like, a little bit of cash, because it's crap. Yeah, and I've just been very disappointed with YouTube. And again, I don't know if it's necessarily YouTube's fault, although it's weird, during a pandemic when everyone's sitting at home watching streaming services, you'd think maybe the ads you think maybe they'd be serving more ads, but then again, maybe all the companies didn't have any money, so they weren't paying for ads, so yeah. But then again, I'm also kind of just I'm so disgusted by the ads I see on YouTube. I just hate almost every ad I see on YouTube is an automatic hate. I hate those solar charging ads. I got this, Lit Wireless just sent me this new solar charging power pack, and let's dig into it and see what it's all about. And it's the same script that every single influencer reads. It's the same, and it's like the same play as those Legends MMR, the most exciting MMORPG whatever from 2019 is about to drop. Let's check out these games, and then these people they have to get excited about this game that they're not playing. That's what I really hate. It's like the your next video, the history of YouTube advertising. Yeah, there you go. That'd be fun. It's like, I'm a fan of Wisecrack. So Wisecrack puts out these pretty good videos about pop culture and philosophy and all that. But then they pepper it with these rolling ads. It's like, today we're going to be talking about the philosophical bent of the latest incarnation of Spider-Man. But first, let me tell you about this really cool online free mobile game you can play with wizards. I've got my wizard up to, it's like, really? Oh my god, it's so terrible. Zachariah Bad, so what do you think about those trendy videos, two toes, that are all the wrong foes in there? All the wrong infos. And then, here's my favorite thing about, look, I've given up on watching, I've given up watching educational YouTube on filmmaking, because all of them, I'm gonna say it, they all suck. Although I did watch one today from the action sequence dad, or action movie dad. I like his stuff, and I watched a whole tutorial on how to rectify or normalize 3D space in 3D Studio or not in After Effects. So that was from Red Giant. I enjoyed that. I watched it like, man, I want to do that. But otherwise, but here's the thing, I'm rambling. So one of the thing I can't stand about video film tutorials is how every video starts with this line. What's up, guys? This is John Hess coming from you live. It's like, I'm so sick of what's up, guys. Oh my gosh, I'm so annoyed with that. Hand of Fear, have you watched this filmmaker IQ guy? Now I know, he's annoying. Like, he's constantly talking about 24 frames a second. That's the weird thing, too. All of a sudden, my Gemini Man review became popular again. I guess because Gemini Man's now available for pirating by everybody. Zicky says, they're all video essays that are absolutely useless because all they do is praise a movie and not help explain anything. As a high schooler, I find it infuriating. Yeah, everybody wants to be every frame of painting. Tony Zhao did it well, and then he got out because I think he realized that, there's only so much you can do with this video essay format. It becomes basically a form of video masturbation, and that's, in order to say something meaningful about filmmaking, but to do it every week the way YouTube demands, it's not really possible. You end up basically becoming masturbatory, and you just repeat the same things. And then, look, everyone's going to talk nerd. Well, we're talking Nerd Writer. I was going to go off on Nerd Writer, because Nerd Writer has a lot of stuff where he's making stuff up, and you can write flowery stuff. I think that's what Nerd Writer is very good at, is writing very, very good rhetoric. But the fact that, like, I got kind of really annoyed at some of his Hitchcock stuff, because he was getting really obsessive over Hitchcock blocking of a scene in which any any reasonably seasoned director would be able to block without having to storyboard everything. And that's kind of, fortunately, he just kind of got way overboard with it. And that started a whole thing. Anyhow. Everybody thinks himself a filmmaker nowadays, and that's the problem too. And I've noticed this. I'm going to honk my own horn. So my city does a coronavirus update every week, and they have the city manager do it. It looks like crap. They put a phone on the table and they just talk into it, and there's a little bit of graphics to it, but otherwise it does look like crap. Sorry. Now I do a coronavirus update for another city, in which we shoot it, and we try to do it in a professional way. Now, am I green screening it? Am I going crazy and doing like all kinds of special effects? No, I'm doing very clean, corporate, but it's professional. And that's the difference between professional and amateur. And then, unfortunately, we're talking about like those virtual graduations, watching those other virtual graduations, like, I can see why people are getting bad taste, because they're not put together professionally, and I felt bad about it. But then again, I did get paid for my work, and maybe those other guys didn't get paid. So I prefer watching tutorials from Coke Optics, Jeff Boyle, Ari, and a few I find. Absolutely, those are the guys. Now notice, they're not YouTubers, and they're not the ones that have to put out a video every week to satisfy YouTube's insatiable hunger for content. So those are Coke Optics is definitely something Jeff runs the cinematographer's mailing list, so he's definitely someone that's worth listening to. Ari and Zeiss, Ari and Zeiss. That's the other thing. Like, sometimes on my video about depth of field, I will get people getting into very vicious arguments, very heated arguments with me, and like, well, here's an article by Zeiss. Do you think they know what they're talking about? Oh no, that's fallacy of was a appeal to authority. Okay, the worst thing that happened to the internet is those people discovering those fallacies, because I don't think people understand what fallacies really are, and not just because it's a fallacy doesn't mean it's wrong. That's another thing. Hand of Fear. I think masturbatory repetition comes from a lack of insight. I think it's easy to repeat the same stuff already written about. Provide your own insight is incredibly hard. It is. And then not only your own insight, but insight in which, if you've come to become known as the, oh my God, what an amazing point person, and I'm going to say Tony Zhao was, with every frame of painting, every video was like, holy moly, that's incredible. You become known for that, you burn out. And I'm kind of known, I guess I'm honking my own horn, I'm kind of known for being really deep dive and giving you guys really heavy duty science. I can't do that for every video. I'm looking at one of my videos that I've written, and before I got really slammed with all this stuff about anamorphic lenses, and I'm thinking I need to cut this way down because this is way too much deep dive stuff, and I'd rather just kind of be more clear and precise about the science, maybe show you some math rather than kind of just talking about it incredibly masturbatory. It's kind of like what I'm doing here on this stream, just speaking into the wind. Speaking into the wind. But yeah, anyhow. So usually I've been doing when we do these streams, we talk about a movie or so, and the movie that well, let's just hit this comment real quick from Hannah Fear. I'm trying to start a video essay channel of my own, and I have stupidly restricted myself only to original insights I can't find elsewhere. It's been 6 months and I've had to put out my first video. Yeah, I believe that. Thing is, though, the way I feel is that sometimes you don't necessarily need to have your own opinion. Sometimes you just need to just kind of gather opinions from other people and then kind of put them together. I don't know. What do I know? I don't write video essays. I come out with like some history stuff and like, the history of the television, the color television war was something that I really wanted to kind of tackle because I had read 3 or 4 articles about it. One article which was way too much information, and then another Wikipedia article that I thought was like just intriguing enough. So I had to play a funny balancing line between those 2 articles and kind of combine them to make this video that I thought was compelling and interesting. And yeah, that was tough. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it's not really. I don't think it's still doing. I'm not getting any more comments. So I said that the microwave was invented in 1950, which it was. But people got really pissed off at me for saying the microwave was invented by the 1950. Gretty Allenman says, I'm trying to make a short with no budget, but every time I shoot, I see a new imperfection. What would you recommend? You know what? Ignore those imperfections, because I think it is after years and years and years of practice where you start to kind of become more one with the camera and more one with the production process. You first start, you're always going to make mistakes, and what I think you'll find too is if you kind of live with the mistake for long enough, it becomes part of what that movie is or what that short represents. Because you may look back at it in 5 years and like, oh, I remember that mistake, and it'll always be part of you, that mistake. But it is one of those things where I think I've gotten to the point. But I've been shooting for 20 years professionally, so I've got to the point where I'm kind of surprised myself, like, wow, that came out better than I thought it would. Like today I shot outdoors, and I'm super tan from it, but I shot green screen outdoors, and I thought, well, I'm going to have to spend a lot of hours trying to get that key right, because it's not going to look right. I shot at Canon Log 3 because it was outdoors and I couldn't control the highlights. I'm like, okay, screw it. I'm just going to shoot Canon Log and worry about it later. And I keyed it this morning, or keyed it when I got back to the office, and like, holy crap, this is really good. I either got lucky or the equipment kind of worked with me real well. So yeah, like I said, don't sweat the mistakes right now, because you're gonna make them, and it's okay. Lose the perfection. Totally, I would think of the art of direction as looking for good mistakes. And I think, and I drive this point home about Stanley Kubrick, because I think people misunderstand Stanley Kubrick. They thought, oh, Stanley Kubrick was a genius, and he must have known exactly what he wanted, and that's why he did so many damn takes. And the answer is no. I think what I've been able to gather from hearing his daughter talk and just kind of my own instincts about Stanley Kubrick is that he didn't know what he wanted. He was basically trying out every single possibility. And then he would look in the editing room like, oh, this is what worked. This is what didn't work. But he was always looking for something. And maybe he also knew when he got there, and he just kept doing it over and over again. And it was a part of me earlier when I was really younger. I thought Stanley Kubrick liked doing that many takes because he also enjoyed the process of the filmmaking process so much that he didn't want to leave it. And that's also why I think he did so many takes. But anyhow, if you don't, let's see, I'm going to go back. Zachariah, if you don't mind, I want to make you some clarifications about this new term, YouTube cinematic video. You can find it almost all YouTube videos now. Haha. Cinematic video. I want to do a video about how to make something cinematic. That's one of the topics I wanted to cover. First of all, you have to shoot 24 frames a second. Sorry, folks. If you want cinematic, you need to shoot 24. At least in my book. But that's not where you end there. In fact, you can shoot really crappy 24 and it does not look cinematic. So there's a lot of things you can do as far as cinematic. I'll let Hand of Fear say that. I know Hand of Fear was saying, just keep in mind his daughter had a falling out with him and is batshit crazy in her recent tweets. Her family refunded a lot of what she said. Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm not going. I don't think that particular point that I'm making there would necessarily be wrong, based on whatever she's saying. So I'm not really concerned about what her mental state is. I know she's had problems too. So. Too many people concentrate on technology and zero creativity. That is so true. So one time I was asked by a city to set up some sort of video channel, and I kind of hemmed and hawed because I was busy with Filmmaker IQ at the time, and I didn't really want to do it, and I ended up kind of backing out of it. And I met with them later, and they said, "Oh my gosh, video equipment is so expensive these days." And I thought, and this is this is only 5 or 6 years ago. I told her, no, video equipment is not expensive. Technology is not expensive. It's the people that are expensive. You need good people, and good people are creative. Good people can come up with solutions. Technology is technology. It doesn't matter. It's the people. And look, do you think people had the greatest technology 50 years ago and they still managed? So anyhow. Let's see here. I'm getting behind here. Wish you had been able to see before it shut down. I saw 1917. I saw it twice, actually. I thought that was really good. I don't think it's overrated. I think it's actually... I think it's accurately rated. How about that? Robert Rodriguez says, mentioned his book, in some industry told him to be creative, but getting technical puts you ahead of a bunch of people who are only creative. And I get that. I agree with that. One of the things I want to talk about is the idea of left and right brain. I don't believe in left and right brain. I believe like there's a creative side and there's a technical side, but they work together. Like, the creative side says, what if we did this? And the technical side says, well, how are we going to do that? Well, we need to do this and this and this. But we're missing this. And then the creative side says, well, I can fix that. And then so the technical and the creative both coexist, and they're both part of creativity. I think that's very important. I think a good technician is creative, and I think a good creative person needs to be somewhat technical, because if you're not, then if you're not technical, you create a lot of problems, I think. Anyhow, let's jump ahead here. Filmmaker IQ. Hello, John and all. My introduction to Stanley Kubrick was 68. Arthur Clarke's 2001 Space Odyssey, or was either that or Full Metal Jacket. 1917 is great in theater and not so much at home. I imagine so. It might be a thing about that. 1917 was pointless considering. You guys can argue about 1917. I'll stay out of that one. What attributes do you look for in the actors apart from your project, or as a part of your project? Good question. I honestly prefer people that can act. I mean, I'm at the level where there is a difference between people that can act and people that can't act. Because there's a lot of actors that come in for our auditions where they're just like, you can't act, and you can't take direction, or you're just too nervous. You're not quite skilled enough to kind of be able to deliver. So I'm looking, the people I like as far as actors is I prefer people that are able to kind of deliver and act a performance that is good. Again, I'm playing at the minor leagues here. I'm not paying people scale here. I'm giving them gas money and kind of things like that. So that is what I'm dealing with. If you're actually in a professional realm where everybody is expected at least to have a level of acting, then you can be a little more picky as far as, particular looks, and it all depends on the particular project, what you're going for. You might just be, there might be something about this person that's like, I see that person as that character, they just nailed it. I also really like people who are not I like fearless performances, people that are willing to take a chance, and even if it's in the wrong choices, to be able to, pull them back and say, hey, I like the energy you were going for, but not quite. Let's try it this way, that kind of thing. So that's what I mean. Anyhow, let's see. Cast well, and you don't need to worry about anything. Yeah, if you cast it well, then all you gotta do is shoot it well, get the best audio you can, color correct it, edit it really, really well. Make sure your story is perfect, and then everything else just falls into place. That's the old joke that I've seen on like TCM. Hollywood totally reminds me of your video of Hollywood's history of faking. It's all about thinking outside the box. Yeah, it totally is. No porgs? What do you mean? I'd have no porgs. No porgs with me tonight. What traits do you think are differentiates people who can act and who can't act? Good question. So part of it is, I think, some self-awareness. There's a lot of fear involved. I think when you get really young actors, they're not outside their heads yet. They're so kind of inside themselves. They don't. I don't know, and maybe it's also an unfamiliarity with more projects and unfamiliarity with material. When I see kind of young actors, they're in a ball, they're inside, and then you see really fresh good actors, they come across, they're outside themselves, they're bigger than life, and it's an act. That's what it's called, acting. I know they may, you as a person in real life, kind of like me, I'm very quiet and shy. I don't. Someone asked me, "Hey, can you talk to a girl at a grocery store?" Like, no, I can't do that. But I'm on camera. I feel comfortable talking. I've developed some sort of ability to speak on camera that's hopefully not going to get me in trouble or get me fired from my job. But no, so that's I think that's part of what it is. John, what features have you done? None. I need to work on my features. Feature's a big Look, like I could make a feature and it would be crap, or I could make a feature, put the time into it and make it good. Yeah, there's a fear in me about not making that feature, but it's a big commitment, especially to do it the way that I would want to do it. I feel like a feature needs to have that certain effort. I don't know. I still have to put the time. I mean, I haven't even had time to finish these videos for Filmmaker IQ. So we'll get to the feature. We'll get there. Hopefully before I die, which hopefully will not be for a while. John, wow! Just realized. Have you ever linked your movies? I like to watch working on putting together a 16 millimeter short film. If you go on cimgfilms.com, I don't know if I still have that site. You can see some of my films there. There's a film called Pitch Black, which is not related to the movie Pitch Black. I didn't even realize there was a Pitch Black movie. That's the one claim that won me a few awards a few years ago. That one's, I'm a fan with that. My Emily was my first serious short. One thing, I did a couple other just little shorts here and there. But then Filmmaker IQ, those are my films. That's why I consider that films. So you've seen them all. We did a short film for one of those sinking called Out of Sync. I thought that was cute. I think it's fun. I think it was cute. I don't think anyone else thought it was good. Maybe it was. Maybe it was too corny. I don't know. Whatever. Praku, adding to the acting question, how do you communicate with your actors what you want them to do? Do you have them visual cues or explain the feeling, like excited, taken back? That is a great question. There is a book I've kind of read. It's called Directing Actors. I don't have it with me. It's one of the more popular directing acting books. But they talk about a part of directing actors, I think, is trying to get inside their head and seeing what they want and what they need to give you the performance. And you can't, one of the worst things you can do for a trained actor is to give a line reading. Like, no, say it this way. How dare you? Or what's that famous line from Hail Caesar? Trippingly. Say it trippingly. Twere never a thing, whatever. But a line reading is a bad thing for some actors. For like non-actors, you need to give them a line, like say the line exactly the way I'm saying it. But for real actors, what you want to try to do is create the emotion and try to give them a sense of, I know it's a joke, what's my motivation? That kind of thing, but it is true. You want to kind of create, like, this is what you want to, this is your goal. Your goal in the scene is to get that actor to do this, but he's not going to do it. You know the script, what's going to happen. So you got to give him like action stuff to do. Be careful of making it too internal. You want to actually, when you give direction, you want to make it actionable. So action words, don't say like feel sad, more like, come to the camera and then wipe away a tear. Just something actionable. It'll help get the actors. Again, it's an art form, and that's what's kind of fun about directing actors is you're working with people and you have to develop your own strategy for each actor. So anyhow, that is my thoughts so far. And again, I haven't done that much directing of actors. I'd like to do a whole lot more. Do you have a Letterboxd account, Filmmaker IQ? I think I do. I just don't keep it updated very well. I stopped making shorts as you can put away as much effort into making a short as a feature. So why make a short? I agree with. I mean, it's true. The thing about features though is I'll be completely honest. A lot of stuff I see locally, the features, I have zero interest in watching. I mean, the posters look like crap. I'm sorry. Like if you're making a feature and you're indie route, try to get some better graphic design. I mean, I don't want to see Comic Sans on the poster unless it's being used ironically. But I want to put out stuff that people will want to watch, and I worry that if you put a feature out there and it's not really good quality, if it's really low quality, it's hard for me to get people. It's hard. If I wouldn't want to watch it, I don't know anybody else would want to watch it. Yeah, okay. You don't need to direct actors or communicate with them. Okay, sure. As a person who has been wearing glasses for 20 years, I noticed you need to wipe off your lenses now. I know. It's probably just, I don't know, it's probably just the lighting in here. Let's see. I've worked with famous actors. Good. Good way to frustrate. Okay, Zicky, no, it's not directing unless including working with actors being well cast half the puzzle, and the other half is getting the best performance out of them. So, a good example is Thomas Hayden Church, I think his name. So he had a great performance in Sideways, the movie about where he and his buddy go up to wine country. Terrific movie, and performance was amazing, right? I don't know if he got an Oscar nominated. He probably did get an Oscar nominated for it. And what was the movie he made immediately after making a great indie comedy, heartfelt movie? The movie he made after that, Spider-Man 2 or 3? No, Spider-Man 3, where he played Sandman. The most plastic, horrible performance. All right. So, I don't think he got any direction on that on Spider-Man. But he got great direction and a great script on Sideways. So, just because you have the right cast, I imagine if you just, I wonder if there are some actors that because of their charm just can ooze through it or just get away with it. Like if you got Robert Downey Jr. in your movie, if you had the right part written for him, you might not even need to direct him because he was like, just be Robert Downey Jr. that we all know. And he might be able to go and do that, but I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things where every actor is different, so you got to play a different strategy with every person you go with. Okay. Fair. Ask any famous director to tell us a director is there if the actor needs them, but most don't. Yeah. I disagree. He was totally miscast as Sandman. He might have been. You agree? I mean, he might have been. But I'm just saying that. Just because you cast somebody doesn't mean you can just walk away from it. You need to direct. And then actors, I think you'll find a lot of actors crave that direction. They want you to give them feedback. Even if that's just like, that was really, really good. I think probably the most frustrating thing for an actor would be just like no feedback whatsoever. Because I think then the actors start getting self-conscious. Like, oh shoot, did the director hate me because he's not saying anything? So you gotta, again, anybody that takes filmmaking and says this is the one way it always is, they're full of shit. It's you've got to always play the strategy for whatever situation you come to. It's always you're always trying to figure out how to get the angle to work on. Kubrick never directed his actors. Not true. That's true. The actors hate it when you don't give enough, or you don't give them any feedback. Then there's the story of the director that would always say, like, more. That's all he would do, more. And then less. But hey, that's still feedback. It's still feedback. Anyhow. So yeah. A lot of roles are written specific for specific actors. Yeah, that's true. But then also remember too that we are as indie filmmakers aren't necessarily writing for specific actors. The other thing too is just because you write for a specific actor doesn't necessarily mean another actor can't do it as well or even better. You never know. It's the whole thing about typecasting. It's also people get typecasted. You expect them to be a certain character, and you never let them do something different and try something different and go way out there and do something out there. And that's a shame, and it kind of sucks. Why can't why can't, I don't know. I'm trying to think of an actor that can do it. I think good actors enjoy good, insightful, specific feedback from a director. What they don't like is being puppeteered. Yeah, I agree. That totally. Not being allowed to understand their choices. Like if you, let's say you are a great, let's pick a great actor. I don't know. What's the guy from, There Will Be Blood. That guy. Robert something or other. I can't. I'm not good with names. Leave me alone. But let's say he worked with Martin Scorsese. And Martin Scorsese didn't say anything to him. You think he'd be happy with that? Probably not. Jack Black in School of Rock, that was written for him. I would say almost he probably wrote. Did he write that for himself? I know. Poor Keanu's longest time only overplayed dumb guy till John Wick. Yeah. Remember, what's his, not Hemsworth, Captain America. Like Captain America, whatever his name is, that Chris, you guys tell me his name. But he only played douchebags. Like his whole career is playing douchebags, right? Terrible people in films. And so to the point, like not another teen movie, he's playing like the most insane jerk out there. And then he gets Captain America, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, he's Hemsworth." Is it Hemsworth? Or is that Thor? But anyhow, he's always playing douchebags. Captain America. Now he's the saint. Now he's the Boy Scout, right? And then what happens immediately after he's done with Captain America? He plays a douchebag in the movie. Oh. The Knives movie. I'm sorry, I don't know. The movie with all the knives in it. That came out last year from our friend who directed Star Wars. The movie, whatever. Anyhow. I have a PhD in director. It's like, if you guys follow movie set memes, probably the only reason to be on Facebook right now is to just follow movie set memes. It's funny. But we have our PhD in extras. An acting extra. I have a PhD in performance. Sure, whatever. I read some Instagram post saying that Chris Hemsworth had anxiety attacks about taking the role and was convinced to do it by ScarJo. Well, good. Knives Out. Thank you, Mo Wang. Knives Out. That was a fun movie. I enjoyed that. And Anna, what's her name? Who plays the maid? Man, she is so beautiful in that movie. I mean, she is such she kind of slips into that movie as someone that doesn't look like a movie star, but it comes out so beautiful in the end. It's like, wow, I can't believe she was able to pull that off. Bro, you were on the FP page for the Tinder. It was called Gripper. We called it Gripper. That was Dating for Filmmakers. That was awesome. That was an awesome month. Daniel Day-Lewis is the actor you mentioned. Thank you, John. So that's the one I was looking for. Daniel Craig's KFC accent, loved it. Oh my God, the Southern Kentucky Fried Detective. It's like, I'm here to get down to the truth. Yeah, he was great. That was a great movie, and it's just kind of, again, I wonder too, like, because people obviously, my friend Joe, who's on my podcasts a lot here, he didn't realize that movie for a long time was the same guy that directed Star Wars movie that he hates. And it's like, if you typecast people, perhaps that particular Star Wars project wasn't the project meant for that director. But I like the Star Wars, but maybe that was not the genre that he is most comfortable doing. And Knives Out was okay, but not a patch on films like Clue or Murder by... Yeah, but they all can't be Clue. They all can't... Although I've rediscovered Clue because of the lady that's in it. And I gotta look her name up because you guys aren't gonna know. Well, I discovered her from Cinderella. Because what's her name? Cinderella, 1950s. Leslie Ann Warren, I believe is the name. Yeah, Leslie Ann Warren. I think. I don't know. I think it's Leslie Ann Warren. But, Leslie Ann Warren is an example of an actress that when I watched her in Cinderella, there's a scene in Cinderella where she sings a song in my own little corner in my own special chair. And it is entirely one take. In 1960, I want to say. Entirely one take, shot on a TV studio, so it's TV budget. It's not huge budget, right? Completely shot in one take, but she gives us a remarkable performance while singing a song. And I was just blown away by what she was able to do. I think she was like 16 or 17 when she did that particular part. Keggy says Leslie Ann Warren's a great actress. I agree. She did something in that scene that was just to take an entire emotional arc from the beginning to the end and just bring it all back together. And we're talking before we talk about directing. I don't think that was that. I don't think as a director you need to direct that much. If the actor understood that, I think Leslie Ann Warren has this instinct about understanding the story. And she talked to Richard Rodgers too, who wrote the music. So she spent a lot of time with the composer talking about it. But the funnest thing about directing a scene like that would be just you have everything in place and you stay out of her way. That's all you gotta do, because she just brought that scene. She brought it. She brung it. She totally brung it. And Tim Curry too. I mean, imagine Tim Curry working with Tim Curry back in the day, because Tim Curry is another example of just fearlessness, right? I mean, obviously Clue, but like the one I'm thinking of is Rocky Horror. To originate that character is fearlessness. I mean, the difference between an amateur actor doing that would be not playing that part as nearly as fearlessly as he does. With your perspective, what does the director bring to the table on a project? Was curious from your view. Amazingly, a lot. I mean, it depends. But a director is the captain of the ship, the way I look at it, and the producer is the boss. Producer is the basically like Spain. I'm not going to use. We'll use Christopher Columbus. Ignore the racist stuff, right? The producer is like the King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella. They fund the thing. They send Columbus out to find it. But the captain of the ship is the person that has to guide the ship and figure out where to go and how to get there. And the director of a film, I view it in a very similar way. It's just the person that has to helm the ship to get to where it needs to go. And that can include all kinds of things, include being the moral support. Again, I'm speaking more in terms of the smaller productions that I'm familiar with. In a Hollywood production, I'm wondering if the director is more of kind of just the point man between the studio and the production. It's like, I mean, I think that's what happened with a lot of these, Disney and all these movie studios hired these relatively fresh directors to helm like Jurassic World, because they figured we can boss these people around. They can be the point man. They can still helm the ship, but they'll listen to what we tell them. They'll do what we tell them to do. So I think that's kind of what they do. Anyhow, that's producer is the ship funder, the director is the captain, the crew is the crew, and the film is the cargo. I like that. That's a good analogy. David Lean always got the best out of his actors, including supporting roles. Yeah, David Lean was a pretty badass director too. What should you always do before any film is allow rehearsal time for actors to find their role? That's a good point. Although I have not done that. I do shorts though, so they don't. I mean, and the stuff I do, rehearsal's not as necessary. But if you're doing a feature, yeah, rehearsal's pretty important. I learned early on that I need to produce as well as direct like Kubrick did later. These days, you almost have to do it all. I mean, we're well beyond the studio system where you can just say I'm a director and that's all I do, because it's not the way the world works. You got to produce. Rian Johnson, episode 7. I think he got pushed around from what I understand. Yeah, I think so. Paul Kepner, thanks for hanging out with us, man. Off to bed. Early day tomorrow. She's same for me. I unfortunately agreed to a 7 a.m. Shoot. Because I said, well, the city member has to leave at 9. And, rain. Rian. So I said, we can shoot at 7. We've been usually shooting 7. And my contact at the city's like, what is wrong with you? Why did you pick 7? I was like, well, I thought maybe you could get her out of the door. Anyhow. So, what time is it? 8:30? Oh, my goodness. Oh, Zicky. So, John, what movie? We're going to get to this. What movie have you seen lately? I just watched Ad Astra. Ad Astra. I watched it last night. It was last night or 2 nights ago. Maybe 2 nights ago. I was enthralled by Ad Astra. I read the reviews, and the reviews were like kind of ho-hum about it. And that's what I was expecting. They're like, oh, the ending's terrible. The third act is trash. And the third act has it's got some issues, but I totally enjoyed Ad Astra. I switched off from HBO whatever to HBO Max because I figured I can watch Rick and Morty now because I haven't seen Rick and Morty. But I really liked Ad Astra. Good cinematography, yeah. Hoyt Van Hoyman. He also did Her, so he's known for that movie. But I thought Ad Astra was very, very cool. Ad Astra was shot in a Kodak Vision 500T. Cool. At least parts of it were. Yeah, I think it was a very visually interesting movie. It has some 2001 kind of callbacks a lot. The science, it's not bad for parts of it, and then it just becomes silly, like writing a nuclear explosion from Neptune. Okay, that doesn't make any sense. Have I seen other James Gray movies? No, I don't think I've followed James Gray, so I may should check it out. Just to develop some of that at home. I got a graphics. I'm new to the world of film, but I got a Graflex Crown graphics camera. Crown Graphics, right? 4x5 film. As I've been shooting with a Toyo monorail 4x5 camera. Because I've been kind of getting into shooting still film. Motion film I'm still a little afraid of doing. But the Toyo was... I dragged that along when I went to the Grand Canyon. Dragged it along, and that sucker's just too damn heavy. So I got myself the graphics Crown Victoria... Not Crown Victoria graphics. Anyhow, so... I don't know anything to do with Victoria. I don't know why I brought her up. Anyhow, so... It's the old kind of press camera, that you saw in the old 40s movies. Smile there, mister. That's one of those cameras. So the Graflex is way easier to lug around than a Toyo freaking monorail 30-pound freaking beast of a camera. Yeah, you'd need a donkey for the monorail. Yeah, tell me about it. Forgot the Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. I want to see a director cut of Suicide Squad. Both movies never been good. I always see what David Ayer wanted to do before he got booted. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, Zack Snyder cut of Justice League. We're not going to see it for a couple years. Suicide Squad. All right. Hey, you know what is a good show, though? I'll tell you. Oh, did you tell me to Hannah Fear to switch the Crown graphic? Well, I followed your advice then. It's a cool looking camera. I shot a movie on a Fisher Price movie camera. Cool. The old film camera, huh? But if you're, I feel like probably one of the best shows out there, and you do have to subscribe to a off-brand streaming site, is Harley Quinn, the cartoon animated series on it's the DC Universe site. It's like $7.99 a month. That show to me is just worth it. Harley Quinn, and they're on their second season. I've been working my way through the second season. They're doing week by week, but here's a show that so people kind of rag on comic book movies, like, what is this terrible society? We're all a bunch of idiots, and if we think comic book movies, that's the Bill Maher case, right? What kind of society do we have where comic book movies are important? Watch Harley Quinn, because the show is beyond silly. There's a shark in the team. All right, they do some stupid stuff, but it is one of the most heartfelt shows, and it deals with some very, like, emotional stuff. First, of Harley Quinn's, abusive relationship with the Joker. Very abusive. And we're talking like this is stuff that real people deal with, going back to the abusive relationships, like the deep, deep stuff. And then there's this relationship going, I'm not giving spoilers, there is a relationship between her and Poison Ivy that is, and you're like, that is, I think, if you are like anti-gay, that show, I think, will, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but it's one of those, though, that cures bigotry, because you're like, I get these people's feelings. They feel so real to me, even though the show has a shark walking around and the shark gets married. All this incredibly weird, stupid shit happening, but the emotions are so wrought. There's an episode where Harley Quinn, the end of the episode is she just kneels down and cries, and it's like, oh my God, that hurts. And like, okay, I'm a little dweeb. I'm a little man child for falling. No, these emotions are real. And the comic book movies, yeah, they're silly and they've got this over the topness to them, but they ultimately, the artists want to communicate feelings and emotions, and they'll do it through any means necessary. And if you do that, even with the pretense of a weird ass show, it's still emotions that drive it. Anyhow. No spoiler. I'm not going to spoil any of the show, but I'm not, the Harley Quinn Poison Ivy, that's kind of been in the comic universe, so it's not a spoiler. That's been happening in the universe. But do watch the show. I think it's worth it. If you have to buy it, just buy the season on Amazon or something if they ever release it on Amazon. Anyhow, I've been ignoring your comments for a while. I actually thought Margot Robbie was terrible in Suicide Squad on the weak link along. Cara Delevingne. I can't pronounce her name. I know what we're talking about though. I like Margot Robbie. I didn't. Birds of Prey. I did not think I'd like Kaylee Cuoco as Harley Quinn. I thought, man, that's not the right voice. She does a great job. Her voice is really good in as far as Harley Quinn in the. And then the actress playing Poison Ivy, who's not a name star, but she's a very famous voice actress. She's probably the best voice. Her and Kaylee Cuoco have a really great chemistry together. So comic book movies, just a framework. A good writer knows how to develop characters that can elevate any framework. And that's true. And look what Hitchcock did for Thriller. You're absolutely right, man. Hand of Fear. Everything, these are all frames to build emotions. Logan was my favorite comic book movie. Same. Spider-Man 2 is proof that comic movies can be more than the color of the armor. Question is Johnny Depp overrated? I don't think so. I mean, there's a backlash against Johnny Depp anyway, so he's obviously not overrated. Depp was great in Ed Wood. Yep. And then if you go way back to some of his older stuff, like What's Eating Gilbert Grape and stuff like that. There's all those old movies, Johnny Depp, and then I still haven't seen the John Waters movie where he's crying. I forget the name of that movie. Again, like being overrated is one of those things where it's like everyone's overrated. It's just a matter of opinion whether someone is overrated or not. So it's up to you if you're tired of that person. Cry Baby, thank you. I haven't seen that movie. I don't need to see that. So I've watched. Oh, the other thing. Okay. So I've also been during the pandemic. I've been listening to a lot of Broadway radio. So I'm itching to want to go see Broadway shows, which aren't going to happen because of the pandemic. So I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna resubscribe to the Broadway channel on Amazon. And so I watched there's a recording of Miss Saigon, which is the is a modern like West End production of it, where they don't longer have horrible yellow face, poor Jonathan Pryce as the engineer. If you guys aren't familiar with it, they literally put prosthetic on his eyes to make him look Vietnamese. Not good. That just not a good idea for a show that's kind of dedicated to kind of overcoming the idea of racism against Asians. Cast somebody a little more cast an Asian. So they did a very good job of casting, and then the guy that played the engineer was a great actor. He actually played in the original Miss Saigon. Miss Saigon is an interesting show. It's you say it's not a good musical, but I think it's an interesting musical in that it's like Les Miserables, but everything's cranked to 11. Like, at least this production was. Like, every song is a freaking power ballad, and it's almost exhausting, but part of me is like sitting there watching like in wonder of how much power, like how many amps is being flowed through this production. It's every freaking song ends with them just screaming at the screen. You know, and like the song that opens the second act called Bidoy. They're called Bidoy, the dust of life. Miss Saigon, Ziki. And at the very end of the song, they're talking about kids that are like, that are the children of the soldiers that went over there. But they're screaming and their veins are popping. It's like, this is how we start the second half, you know. So it's an interesting musical. I think musically it's it's well written. I like it. I think musically I like it better than Les Mis. I'm not a big fan of Les Mis, honestly. I think Les Mis is, if you want to do overrated, I think it's overdone. I don't ever want to go see a Les Mis production. Because I'm over it. And like every production I've seen of Les Mis, they overdo the British accents. It's like, these people are French. Stop it with the British accents. The guy that plays the shop owner, whatever, the Le Bombardier, whatever his name is, always talking like this. Hello, governor. You know, the weird thing about the British is the way they distinguish class based on the accent. Without realizing these are French people. They don't have the same accent things that we do. Les Mis, I love the stage show. The movie made me want to die. Yeah. Joe and I saw that on Christmas Day when it was released. And there was a part where the gladiator, Russell Crowe, kills himself, right? Spoilers. And he jumps off the bridge, and then they add the sound effect of him breaking, like, oh, he's dead. Like all these sound effects to show you he's dead, people. He's dead. It's like, oh my God, that was stupid. Yeah, I mean, Hollywood is racist. Asians and South Chinese, Japanese, Indians. Yeah, you should see their cinema. I know. We're not gonna go in there because I think this world has had enough of that discussion about race right now. So I want to keep it light today. Yeah, Russell Crowe was not good in that movie. Yeah, the dude falling on the Titanic. That's exactly what they're ripping off. The dude falling on the Titanic. So long story short, the reason why I was mentioning the Broadway channel, other than the fact that we're finally gonna see Hamilton on Disney Plus. So yay. I heard that people saying that Lin-Manuel is not that good as Hamilton and some of the other people. I don't care. I want to see Lin-Manuel as Hamilton because I like everybody else, I've listened to that album a million times. I can't rhyme it. I can't do the whole thing, but there's part of me, and then I've kind of fallen out of love with something with Hamilton, but I still want to see it. I want to see the original cast do it. So we're going to get that on Disney Plus. But I saw a show that I thought was really kind of interesting called Ruthless, the life and times of like Debbie DeMarco. And I thought it was like some weird off-Broadway show. It's been around for at least 20 years. I think Britney Spears was actually at one point as an understudy in one of the shows. I think Natalie Portman played in the show. Ruthless is about a girl who is like her mom, a girl that's really talented, kind of like a Shirley Temple girl. So talented, and then and then she's going to try out for the play. And her mom's kind of supporting her, and then a theater like agent comes by and I want to train you, and I'm just going to give you the first half synopsis. She goes ahead and she tries out to play, but she doesn't make it. Even though she's clearly the most talented girl in school, she doesn't make it because the other girl's parents are basically funding the show, so the other girl's parents become the lead. And then she's so desperate for the part, she ends up killing the other little girl. All right, that's all I'm going to tell you. You get a little bit of that, and it becomes like incredibly melodramatic. The second half, it's delicious. It's a very interesting, very funny musical. It's a different different tone. What's weird about the casting? They had the lady and the agent being played by a man in drag, which. But if it wasn't played by a man in drag, there would be no men in the production at all. So I kind of wonder, did you need to do that? It's called Ruthless. The life and times of like Debbie DeMarco. Ruthless. But I don't know. It's like we have to get our foot in the door. I'm not trying to be sexist here. One thing I've discovered. Okay, so I did a video of a virtual choir thing, where all the kids record themselves on a phone, and I mixed like 100 kids together. And I've discovered, and I'm going to be very incredibly sexist right now, that women, the girls, are just the better sex. All right, no, that's I'm going to get canceled right there for saying that. I don't know. The girls are with it, are more together at that age. Boys are just, where are you? Like literally, you guys don't know what. So that's the way I've been handling things. It's like, well, all right, women are way better at the world than men. We're just a bunch of losers. Anyhow. Speaking of virtual choir, I'm practicing my baritone voice for Dave Wesley's virtual choir. Oh, cool! I heard about David Wesley. In fact, the choir director was mentioning David Wesley's stuff, these virtual choirs. 2 more days until the original movie adaptation of Artemis Fowl. All right, I'll have to check that. Let's see. Let's go back here. I love Universal Pictures adaptation of stage musical of Les Mis. I also love 2 movie adaptations, Victor Hugo and the one produced by now Disney 20th Century Studios. Cool. All right, and then Virtual Choir 2, O Canada 150. Bill Cage says he can do Mongolian throat singing. And that's very good. I'm a musician. You might have seen me do some things, but one thing I can't do is I can't sing. I can't really sing. I'm sorry. I hate that about myself. I really do. Like I can play trumpet, and my tuning, my ear for tuning is very good. Very good, as I would say. Oh, I don't play sax. I play trumpet. Don't get me confused with a sax. But my tuning ear is very, very good. Very good. Very good. My singing, not very good. I cannot stay in tune. Maybe that's why my ear is very good for tuning. But man, I cannot. I pick every time I sing. I try to record myself singing. I'm like, ooh, yikes. Man, I slide into that note. Oh. Or I just can't find the note, which is sad. And I bet you if I just sat down with a teacher for about 6 months, I could probably get to a little bit better. But who has time for that? I just don't have time. Bill and Ted trailer was truly terrible. I haven't seen that one yet. I saw the thumbnail, but I gotta check it out. My young cousin plays the trumpet and snare drum. I am formerly taught as a pianist and a cellist. Awesome. Donnie, do you find that music has helped? If you are a filmmaker, does you feel like it helps your filmmaking at all? Because personally, I think music and filmmaking are such a such a both like two sides of the same coin for me. It's like I unfortunately I'm not happy enough if it's just music. I need to have film. But if I have film, my films aren't nearly as good if they don't have really good music. One of the things, because I'm not classically trained. I'm not really a classical musician. I'm a jazz musicianist. What kind of word is that? I'm more of a jazz musician, but I do appreciate the classics. And one thing when I did those virtual graduations is I made sure to include a little bit more of Elgar's pomp and circumstance than just the trio that everyone plays incessantly. And then I was watching some of the other people's. Whoops, I didn't mean to undo. Sorry, Bill, I didn't mean to hide your comment there. But I'm watching some other people's graduation ceremonies, and there's one graduation ceremony that didn't even use pomp and circumstance, and I'm like, this is not graduation. You need to have pomp and circumstance. It needs to be in there. I love every genre of music, John, including classical and jazz. I'm not a big fan of... What am I not a big fan of? Like, I'm not that big a fan of hip-hop. I mean, I can take some hip-hop. That's just, unfortunately, my lame, old-school whiteness coming across. But I do enjoy me some serious... what's it called? I forget. My brain's already fried. A lot of Lake Elsinore sun today. That's called Daft Punk? Not Daft Punk. Anyhow. Whatever. I'm losing it now. Yep, Hand or Fear. I like that. Writing, directing, acting, editing, and many aspects of film are based on rhythm, just like music. Yep, and I think that's why a lot of artists are also musicians in some point, in some capacity, right? I think maybe that's also why we have to make sure that when we talk about our schools, that we keep some sort of music alive somehow in the thing. Let's see. I played guitar in a polka band for 2 years. Excuse me. It's that Corona getting to me. I don't think I have Corona. But guitar in a polka band. Have you guys seen that polka band from Germany that does like the Sweet Child of Mine? That's an awesome polka band. I love polka bands. I got an accordion with an attempt to play it, but I can't get my two hands to operate simultaneously. I can do one hand or the other. And if you've seen my musical video, you've seen me playing the accordion in the background of a Sound of Music. Elgar's Pomp and Circumstance March No. 1, Land of Hope and Glory, is among the inspirations of various tunes, including John Williams' The Throne Room and Star Wars: A New Hope. That's yeah. If you guys watch my favorite version, and I'm still impressed by it, I've only seen it once, Fantasia 2000 has a full choir rendition of Pomp and Circumstance, where Donald Duck is creating the Ark, not the Noah's Ark story. And it's got the whole thing, but I thought that's an amazing arrangement. I don't know which part of Pomp and Circumstance that is. Is it just March number? I don't know, but it's got the choir going full bore. Maybe that's the last part of it. But yeah, the Fantasia 2000 has got the best, I think, Pomp and Circumstance recording. So, anyhow, talking about Elgar, breaking it down. And somebody on my Facebook was saying, well, if you don't want to do Pomp and Circumstance, you can always substitute with the March from Patton. And I'm thinking, yeah, you could. Dun da 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 dun da dun da dun da dun ba da ba da dum ba da ba da dum ba dum ba dum ba dum bum ba dum. That one. I just got copyright claimed. No, just the word sang wordless in Land of Hope and Glory and Fantasia. Okay, yeah, I don't know I'm not a classical cat. I appreciate it. I do a lot of recording of classical groups. Some of the stuff, yeah, I appreciate. Sometimes a piano sonata or a piano concerto, and just go on for a little too much. It's a little too much. Like Prokofiev, come on. Shostakovich. Let's bring it to the end. The endings are fantastic. Oh yeah, you're riled up at the end, but there's a lot of. I can't even imagine how those pianists memorize all of that sonata or the concertos. Wow, I don't even know how they even write it all out on a piece of music. That's what I heard. Yeah, another suggestion: the throne room can be alternative land hope. Yeah, but I still, it's like I told the guy, I was like, pomp and circumstance is like turkey at Thanksgiving. Like if you don't have turkey, somebody's gonna complain. Like I'm a traditionalist. I gotta have my pomp and circumstance. I can't do without it. Oh yeah. Concertos and sonatas are, I think, are shorter than concertos. Concertos are full blown like 20-minute works. I believe. And I just got canceled for saying that. No, you can't say that. Concertos are not that thing. Are not short or not long. But I don't know. Then my favorite piano concerto, if you want to call it, is Rhapsody in Blue. I love that piece. That is a piece that can probably go on for a long time. And that's one of those pieces where I have it memorized so well that I know if a live performance misses a section, I'm like, oh, yeah, that wasn't right. I heard that. I heard that. Land of Hope and Glory was never played in commencement ceremonies in the United Kingdom. Interesting. Well, in the U.S., we just dun da da da. By the way, I think Land and Hope, whatever the Pomp and Circumstance trio march, whatever, the best part, it's only rival. The best counter melody of all of musical history is in Pomp and Circumstance, and it's only rivaled with Sweet Caroline. So, bum 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 bum, ba-da-dum bum bum. And of course, the rival is Sweet Caroline, bum bum bum. Two of the greatest counter melodies ever written. So there it is. We have come to a sad place where we're talking about Elgar and Land of Hope and Glory. All right, so it's coming at about 9 o'clock. If you have any final questions, I want to wrap up tonight. Thanks for kind of hanging out with me again. Just wanted to say, I'm not abandoning the channel, even though it may look like it. I have suspended Patreon for a while because it's not fair for me to take money for stuff if I'm not doing stuff. It's going to be a while. I'm sorry. I've got that Fox video. I wanted to work on it this week, but then all of a sudden, 3 more projects on my table. So I'm not abandoning the channel. I'm just working on other stuff. And hopefully, by me working on other stuff, I can create a little bit of a bankroll so that I can work on Filmmaker IQ stuff and make some more videos. I think we've got to cover... I want to cover Fox. I've got half of it shot, which is the first half, which is one video, which is just covering William Fox's life. So from 1896 to 1932-ish. Oh, thank you, Donnie, for hanging out with me. Cue from Stephen Arnold's Beyond. I gotta check this stuff out. So Fox will be covering from 1896 to 1932-ish, when Fox is removed, and then the next Fox video after that will cover 1933, obviously, to 2020, when Fox is no more. It's gone back to 20th Century Pictures under Disney's reign. And part 2 is going to be fun because we talk about the Xanax, and we talk about Cleopatra. I need to make a video just on Cleopatra, because that is one shit show. that movie, holy moly, that one is something else. Oh, it's Fox's O&O theme music package. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's gonna come out eventually. Since I've been hitting with 24 FPS stuff, I want to do a video on 24 frames per second when it comes to OLED televisions. Which is, I think I've been waiting for this filmmaker mode to come out to try to kind of learn about what I haven't had a chance to even look at it yet, but I have some suggestions if you want to make 24 frames a second look really good on your OLED television, because I notice a lot of people are having trouble with OLEDs and 24. So that's something that I want to talk about. It's very interesting. And even my 144 frame monitor that I bought just for experimenting with, doesn't look good. 24 doesn't look good unless you do this thing that I'm going to talk about, which is black frame insertion. Spoiler. Black frame insertion. Oh, I don't have any questions, but your beard looks nice. It's very gray because of the graduations. Very gray. We got a video on anamorphics that come out. I want to maybe do a video about what is a contract, like a basic business 101. What exactly is a contract? What does a contract need to have in it? Very basic stuff. I'm not gonna offer legal advice, just the stuff that maybe people don't know about. And I'm sure a couple other ones that were in the till that I haven't talked about yet. But anyhow, that's it, guys. Well, thank you for hanging out with me. It's been nice to be able to come back and say hi to you guys. And hopefully we'll come back and do another Pubcast soon. Maybe actually get back to the office. So, alright, guys. Well, this mostly may sound where you look like a combination of Colonel Sanders and my dad. When will we be back in the studio? Hopefully in the next few... I mean, I'm going back to the studio now. I'm just doing this from home because it's easier. But yeah. Anyone else finding this channel's lack of ads means subscribers are not getting notifications? Is that why? Is that why I'm not putting enough ads on these videos? I thought I'd put ads on these dang things. Well, I think it's because I'm a small channel and I don't upload very regularly. That's why you guys are not getting notifications. Unfortunately, that's the way YouTube works. They want me to throw a bunch of crap at you and deal with the drama. That's the drama from your mama. So anyhow, I'm just clinging. I'm like the guest that doesn't want to leave. I want to hang out with you guys. Well, I need to get a drink and I need to go probably take a nap because I need to wake up early tomorrow and do some more shooting. So alright, guys, we'll take it easy. Everybody get up. Stay safe. Bye.